While
the balls on the motherfucker.
While on goddamn bail, he starts a new company with a new snakehead. By snakehead, I mean a new front for the company, a new spokesperson for a company. And he was doing all the back end stuff and all the scamming and telling people that you can get these discounted tickets. Sound familiar? Okay, let's go back to Magnesis, his original fucking credit card company that was also a goddamn scam. Let me tell you how he did it. He would buy these tickets on his American Express Black Card, and he would throw these parties just like he did the Fyre Festival. He would promise these fucking awesome, epic everything. He would sell tickets to boxing events, $200 under value, okay? And the only reason he would buy them is to resell them at a lower amount to his clients, you know, kind of like a gift to the clients. But guess what? He wasn't making any money off of his Magnesis, off of these cards. He was putting all this money on his American Express Black Card. And guess what? That was the whole reason for Fyre Fest, was to cover his ass from his last scam.
Really?
Yes, because he was $750,000 in debt with American Express.
Oh, shit.
$750,000. And he didn't have any money to pay them back. And I mean, he was kind of smart about how he would pay just the increments on the American Express Black, but he was using his investors' money to pay for these former expenses. This is illegal. You can't do that. There's some way of appropriation of funds that you can't take money from one company and transfer it to another company to cover your ass.
Yeah.
It has to be SEC approved for like a wire transfer. So they nailed him on wire transfer fraud. This sounds like fucking Al Capone and nailing him for taxes.
Yeah.
Tax evasion. All right.
That's what it sounds like.
So the motherfucker is putting on this new scam, doing the same shit he did for Magnesis, but it's under a new platform with a different guy in the front telling people that they could get discounted tickets. These discounted tickets were, however, from Billy McFarland. They caught him on 14 counts more of fraud.
Gosh.
He is now facing he's already in jail for 6 years for the whole Fyre Fest bullshit. Whatever charges they got him, he's in jail now. They can't take it away. However, with these new scams that he was doing while he was posted bail, he's now going away possibly for 75 years for fraud.
Wow.
Holy shit.
That reminds me of who's that one dude who sold security and I forgot his name in New York. He was a big scam artist, older guy, but he got like years and years in prison. It's kind of like that story.
It's also kind of like that story that we had from the guy who did the pop stars from back in the day, like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, Phil something.
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah, it's the same kind of manipulative backdoor shit. I don't remember exactly. I think he was stealing royalties.
He was stealing all their... Yeah, he wasn't paying them.
Yeah, he wasn't paying them the royalties for all the music that they had, and they won in a class action lawsuit. Now he's in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, fuck that guy. He wants to
I don't
steal
remember what
people's
the end
hard work.
happened to that guy. Who gives a fuck? He's not a fucking Orlando native anymore unless he's sitting at 33rd, and I'm unaware of it.
Hell yeah, we'll go see his ass and be like, ha, fuck you, dude.
Exactly. All right, well, hey, dude, in 33rd, fuck you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, there you go. If you fucking have a cell phone up your ass, you're probably listening to this podcast anyways. They're the most entertaining thing other than our friends in Orlando. Anyways, it's just, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the Fyre Festival story.
Woo.
Chris, what the fuck do you take of all this? And give me a detailed non-stoner answer.
Well, over the years... Because I wanted to study a lot of criminal psychology, and agreed was one of the criminal psychological backgrounds I wanted to research. And a lot of these people who used to scam people, like going to these high end, parties, high end promotions for like these companies that didn't really have any, real investments or real money into them. Like
no financial substance behind all their bullshit.
Yeah, they'll buy a big fucking warehouse, say we're doing all this stuff, but there'll be realistically nothing within this giant warehouse, like nothing going on. And they'll swear up and down like they have all this. Anyways, I'll digress.
They're selling the false facade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the high life. I have it. You want it. Pay me for it.
Yeah, and
that's essentially what all this is. It's selling a deceptive fucking lie and
works.
Thinking, and it works. But no one is really happy at these things. And it goes back to that whole influencers bullshit, because these people are selling the same shit that Billy McFarland was selling, that you can have this life if you do this. It's like get rich quick schemes, basically, or pyramid schemes, or if you are a moron enough falling for the Indian scam calls.
Yep.
Like, I feel like these people are on the exactly same level. Maybe not at income levels falling. These Indian scammers make $5,000, maybe $1,000 off one call, while these other fucking guys are stealing millions and getting away with it for the most part. If you're good at it, I mean, there's probably scams right now going on that we're unaware of that are taking place right. I mean, look at fucking Wells Fargo and shit. If you don't know about that, look that up. That's pretty interesting too. But I mean, it never fucking ends. There's always one more. This was just the highest publicized fucking event that it had no end in sight. And it was just, he managed to put together this whole thing, and nobody was none the wiser. Even his fucking cohorts. And he finally tells everyone in his company, we are dissolving the company. We're sorry.
That's how it usually goes. A lot of these things.
But you're not going to get unemployment from me.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
He fucking told his employees, nope, we're dissolving the company.
It's fucked up. It's almost not surprising, though, when I was studying a lot of, that would be the reoccurring cycle. Like, the only person who would, like, the man who started it would be the only person in on it, and everyone else around them wouldn't really know until somebody, like a bookkeeper, would point out, hey, I've noticed an extra bank account for maybe some weird woman's name, like Johanna Guerrera or something like this. Who's that? And it's just a made up name, like deposited $25,000 out of this into this fund, or this. They would point that out, and that it's the same discrepancies and all like that. It'd be one thing that one person in the company would point out, and then he would, after a month after that, the owner would be like, all right, pull all funding and dissolve the company, and people would be like, oh, we were out of jobs, our whole town had all hope. The reason why people get so many years in jail, again, is because, you could effectively put a whole town in poverty with these schemes.
Yeah, exactly. This
goes bad.
It goes into like other examples of like Flint, Michigan's water is where that the local power plant was poisoning the water of Flint, Michigan.
It was the government's fault.
That one.
They all got charged for that too.
But it even goes all the way to like our problem that we had with BP and the oil spill. There was a safety malfunction that they were just trying to
overlook, cut corners on that.
Exactly.
Shit.
It's the same fucking big business elitist bullshit.
Yeah.
It follows the same psychological kind of mentality, whether it be a gang mentality from a board of directors all the way to a single man doing a fucking promotions app trying to sign artists. If he would have just stuck with a fucking app, we would not be sitting here, and Billy would not be sitting in prison for pretty much the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I'm just baffled by all this. Like, how this could be this epic and fail so fucking bad.
Yeah, how do you stick your own foot in your mouth that hard? Even the first damn time. I mean, the first time, just don't scam people. It never works out. Like the only way you can get away with a scam is if you literally disappear. Like, there's only been like,
or you involve yourself so in depth into the scam where it becomes a fucking reality. It is, for example, like Donnie Brasco as a cop became all the fucking evil shit in the mob, and that was the only way to take down the mob was to be the mob. You know what I mean? It's just like us in the Mexican cartel. We had to go in as elitist death squads to take out cartel members. We are going to talk about shit like this, and it just has no end in sight. It's always the same thing. It is always the gang mentality failing themselves over and over again. And it is really fucking late. And it is almost 1 o'clock, and we've been doing this since about 9 o'clock. And I'm keeping this in here because I want you guys to hear that we are dedicated to bringing out the best fucking product that we possibly give you. We're not going to stop. We're not going to skimp.
No, we're not. Never.
So we're going to probably wait a few episodes before we do something like this again. But, Chris, what a fucking story, man.
Boy, like, fuck yeah, man. Like, I love hearing shit like that. Fucking, I like stories like that just because, it gives you more of a perspective into a psychological background of people, like, in greed and how they play about it and how they're willing to do, by any means, cover their ass or, I don't know. It's just, greed's an interesting thing, And
I mean, we're going to talk every couple of times a month. I don't know. It depends on what is brewing for a story like this. For us to dedicate almost a full episode on talking about a specific issue. But I think this is fucking cool. We're not a research-based podcast. We don't sit there.
We don't like to sound preachy.
We're not sounding I agree. We don't want to sound like, oh, we're this. But we could have thrown references to politics into this the whole way through.
We could have.
And we didn't.
No.
Because we want to look at things objectively, and at least from our point of view, objectively. Yeah. It's things that have an end to it. So we want to tell these stories so you can look at it. Chris and I are going to do a lot of these.
Yeah, more or less. I mean,
more or less twice a month, I think. We're going to bring you as many episodes and as much content as humanly possible.
If I get more back into like the criminology type of studies, maybe I'll do segments more often on my end too.
Yes. So thank you guys for checking us out. If you're listening to us, give us let's do the YouTube thing. Just if you see our show listed on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, retweet that shit. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you want us to talk about. There's so many different cool things that we could talk about. Yeah. Talk about serial killers, but I don't want to sway too much into one direction and sway too much in the other. Yeah. I really want to keep on just interesting stories. It doesn't matter.
But we'll make small side segments out of it. We won't make it a part of the main meat of the show.
It's not the whole basis of our show. Is covering topics and talking about.
We'll make it a big umbrella type of thing. We'll have our little spin-offs, our interest. We're just now starting on this, people, and you'll get to know us more. We'll let you pick our brains more. We'll want to inquire you on what we want to talk about, and we'll give you what our flavor is. I'm having a case of malapropism.
All right. So thank you guys for listening. Tomorrow we didn't get to talking about my vacation cruise story, which I promise is just not as ridiculous as the Fyre Festival story, but you guys have figured out now that I have an interesting way of telling stories, and I keep Chris mostly interested in half of it. Without him fucking dazing and not enough and shit like that. But we're going to dedicate a whole episode. We're actually going to record another episode tomorrow so that's going to follow this episode. So if you're hearing this, the cruise story will be tomorrow. And it will be very interesting because it's the timeline of what happened to me on the cruise at the same time what happened to Chris here in Orlando.
Yeah.
And he's got some stuff to talk about as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. And if you didn't like what you heard today, throw us a message, tell us to fuck off, unfriend us, do whatever. But if you love it, do the exact opposite. Thank you and good night. Chris, do you have any shout-outs?
Shout-outs? I don't
or
think
anything to plug?
Anything to plug? Really? I mean, I wanted to do, like, more... Well,
hold up.
All right. Well, other projects. I mean, as y'all know, I'm a bit of a nerd. I like to talk about a lot of comic book shit, and I have comic book shit hats and fucking game